The rooster's crow was my alarm clock. A soft glow filtered through the woven walls of the tukul. I inhaled deeply, and the air was sweet with the scent of burning eucalyptus wood and roasting coffee. It was a new day in the Sidama region of Ethiopia. I was far from home, but I already felt strangely connected to this place. I unrolled myself from under the thin cotton blanket. The floor of the tukul was cool earth, and I felt a childlike joy at the sensation. Stepping outside, I was greeted by a chorus of birdsong. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves of the enset plants, their broad leaves glistening with morning dew. The world was waking up, and I felt a sense of peace settle over me. I had come to Ethiopia seeking something. It wasn't something I could articulate, not exactly. I was restless, yearning for a deeper connection to something. Maybe it was a connection to myself, or maybe it was a connection to something larger than myself. Maybe it was both. All I knew was that I craved simplicity, authenticity, a break from the constant noise and distractions of my modern life. As I stretched, enjoying the feel of the sun on my skin, I heard a soft bleating. A small brown goat was observing me with curious eyes. It took a tentative step closer, its little bell jingling. I smiled, my heart warming at the sight of the creature. "Hello there, little one," I whispered, reaching out a hand to stroke its soft ears. The goat, emboldened, decided I was worthy of further investigation. It gave my hand a quick sniff before attempting to nibble on my fingers. I laughed, surprised by its boldness. This simple interaction, the gentle curiosity of an animal, filled me with a joy I hadn't realized I was missing. In that moment, there were no deadlines, no emails, no to-do lists. There was just me, the goat, and the warmth of the Ethiopian sun. It was a feeling of pure presence, of being completely immersed in the moment. I realized how much I craved this simplicity, this lack of pretense. The sound of children's laughter drew me up the grassy slope behind the tukul. A group of children, their eyes bright with mischief and joy, were engaged in a lively game of tag. Their laughter echoed across the hillside, a melody that spoke of pure, unadulterated joy. I watched them for a while, mesmerized by their energy. They moved with an effortless grace, their bare feet barely seeming to touch the ground. The older children helped the younger ones, their laughter a shared language that transcended words. As I observed them, I couldn't help but think about how different their childhood was from the ones children experience in my own world. These children didn't have iPads or video games. Their playground was the natural world, their toys, the simple things they found around them. And yet they seemed so happy, so carefree. The scent of spices led me to a small round hut. Inside, 3 generations of women were gathered, their hands moving rhythmically as they prepared Injera, the traditional Ethiopian flatbread. The air was thick with the aroma of fermented teff flour and berbera, a spicy chili blend. I was invited to join them, and I eagerly accepted. One of the women, a grandmother with kind eyes and a warm smile, showed me how to pour the batter onto the hot clay griddle. I tried to mimic her movements, but my own attempts were clumsy and awkward. "Like this," the woman said, gently guiding my hand with hers. "You must use your left hand." I froze, remembering the cultural taboo against using the left hand in many parts of the world. But here it was the hand used for cooking, for nurturing. It was a reminder that what might seem strange or even wrong in one culture could be perfectly natural in another. After the injera making lesson, I set off with the children to explore the nearby food grove. It was a wonderland of fruit trees, their branches heavy with exotic fruits. Mangoes, papayas and bananas grew in abundance, their colors vibrant against the lush green foliage. One of the children, a little girl with bright, curious eyes, plucked a large, spiky fruit from a tree. "Jackfruit," she said proudly, handing it to me. I had never seen a jackfruit before, let alone tasted one. Hesitantly, I took a bite. The taste was unexpected, a strange mix of sweet and savory. It wasn't love at first bite, but there was something intriguing about the flavor. The children who had gathered around to watch my reaction burst into giggles at my surprised expression. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the village, the community gathered under the shade of a giant guava tree. The tree was a central meeting point, a place where stories were shared, laughter echoed, and life unfolded at its own unhurried pace. I watched as the villagers settled themselves on woven mats, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the setting sun. The air was filled with the sound of conversation and laughter, a comforting hum of human connection. I felt a familiar tug at my heart, an urge to capture the scene with my camera. I wanted to preserve this moment, to share it with others. But as I raised my camera, I hesitated. Something felt different this time. It wasn't just about capturing a beautiful image. It felt intrusive, like I was putting a barrier between myself and the experience. I lowered the camera, feeling a strange mix of disappointment and relief. Maybe, I thought, some moments are better experienced than documented. Maybe the act of observing, of truly being present, was more valuable than any photograph could ever be. I put my camera away and allowed myself to simply be present in the moment. I listened to the rhythm of the language I didn't understand, the rise and fall of voices, the shared laughter. I breathed in the sense of wood smoke and roasting coffee, the sweet fragrance of the guava blossoms overhead. As darkness fell, the stars emerged, a million pinpricks of light against the velvet sky. I found myself sitting alone under the guava tree, a sense of peace washing over me. Ato Hailu, a kind elderly man who spoke a little English, approached me. He smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "You're enjoying our Meskel?" he asked, referring to the upcoming Ethiopian holiday. "Very much," I replied, a wave of emotion welling up inside me. "It is beautiful." He nodded, his gaze fixed on the star-filled sky. "Meskel is about light," he said softly. "The light of the fire, the light of faith, the light within us all." His words resonated deeply within me. I realized that I had been searching for light, too. The light of connection, of authenticity, of something real and true. And I had found it here in this simple village, under the shade of a guava tree. When the villagers began to gather wood for the Meskel bonfire, I found myself putting down my camera once again. This time there was no hesitation, no internal struggle. I knew that this moment, like all the others I'd experienced in Ethiopia, was not meant to be captured or preserved. It was meant to be lived, and so I joined the villagers, adding my own piece of wood to the growing pile. As the flames roared to life, casting a warm glow on the faces around me, I closed my eyes and allowed myself to be swept away by the moment, the heat of the fire, the joy of the celebration. In that moment, I was not an outsider, an observer. I was simply present, connected to the earth, the people, the ancient rhythm of life itself.